Welcome back to Sports Scene Live. Jeff Porsche with you at Fratelli's Italian Grill at Oak Grove Plaza here in Prairieville off of Airline Highway. A great place to get lots of great Italian food. We talked about the wine list. They've got lots of different types of pastas, subs, pizzas, and all your different choices, chicken, veal, seafood. Lots of great things on the menu. A huge menu here and a great wine list, a great place to be. And also, don't forget to pick up your copy of Sports Scene Live, or excuse me, just Sports Scene Magazine, and you can get all the details about the homecomings for East Ascension, Santa Ma, and you can check out the court and all the good things that are happening over there at those schools. And that's in the latest edition of Sports Scene Magazine. So check that out. And now we're joined by Pete Pasqua. How you doing?
So, how you doing?
And we're gonna have Pete's picks. He's 21-8. Had a little tough week, 5-4. Not a bad week, but it's still a winning week and some tough games. But we're gonna start out with another tough one. Lutcher playing at San Juan. That's gonna be a close one.
Yeah, it was a tough week. Saints still yet to play, so we're gonna see how Mama's Cowboys do against the Saints. But the first game, Lutcher and Santa Ma. Mama used to tell me about Lutcher back in the day. They were real mean son of a guns. And Santa Ma and Lutcher, they played each other every year since 2013. First game I ever covered for Santa Ma was actually Coach Oliver's first game in 2008. They played on a Wednesday where they had a hurricane that year. And that's when Lutcher had Jarvis Landry and Gavin Webster. But I'm picking Santa Ma here. Santa Ma's coming off a big shutout win. We got some good weeks last week for Santa Ma was Sims and Boscom and Aguilar each had touchdowns. Poirier and Zephyr. As a quarterback for Santa Ma, Lutcher, we got a new quarterback coming in Makai Patterson. Rashawn Stark and Rashawn Williams each had touchdowns. Ivan Clark had a touchdown for the second straight week. Dwayne Winfield's coming on big for Lutcher, but Santa Ma's kind of owned this series here, except for last year they lost 31-28. Santa Ma is big. I think they'll be the favorite here. They have more depth, a bigger 5A school than Lutcher.
Okay, it ought to be a good one though. And Lutcher, they've always got a tough team, but now let's go on to Dutchtown, the one team with a shot at 5-0 in non-district play. They're going out to Frog Country, taking on Rain.
I picked Dutchtown to win this game and start out 5-0. Dutchtown's biggest win was probably against Covington, 24-6. They won last week 52-0 over Vanderbilt Catholic. Rain's coming off of 3 straight wins. They lost to Welsh to open the year, but they beat Berwick last week 16-6. Of course, Josh Reed is from Rain. He was a big-time receiver for LSU. I want to give a shout-out to Jamal Joel. I didn't know that he had cancer. I saw that story, and that was a great story, and he's a great I had compared him to Devin White, and it's amazing to see a kid like that being able to have so much success in a violent football game after that. Dylan Sampson and Braden Fritchie, they quarterback and running back for Dutchtown. So going with Dutchtown.
Yeah, and East Ascension, they're trying to get a win here and maybe improve to 4-1, and they're going to be going down to St. Charles Catholic, and they're always good.
Yeah, I lost the EA game. I picked Warren Easton last week, and it wasn't the first time, but I'm going to pick EA this week. I saw the second half of that game, 42-41. There was a lot of players stepped up, Jones, McBride, and Johnson, but a lot of guys on defense. Riante Jones, Jaron Esther, been a big-time player. Cale Babin playing like safety now, and Boykins and John Jones. Brent Ragusa come in at linebacker and played real good. EA and St. Charles played each other every year since 2013. EA's only loss to St. Charles was 22-0 in 2016. Last 2 years they beat them 21-2. So St. Charles does have a big win over De La Salle. They beat Lutcher as well. Each of them close games, and they beat E.D. White 36-0 last week. But East Ascension they've been playing tough for opponents, and they finding a way to win. You know, they playing to the end. So I'm picking East Ascension in this game.
Okay, Donaldsonville, they're going to Woodlawn, and last game for Woodlawn before they take on Dutchtown in district play, and that ought to be a good game.
I'm picking Donaldsonville here. They're coming off a 42-26 win. I saw the first half of that game last week against White Castle, and you know, it was the same guys, you know, that made it. But Raylan Johnson scored the first 2 touchdowns for Donaldsonville. The other guys, Jaquavius Tenner and Travion Brown, you know, at quarterback. Woodlawn's only win this year was against Riverside. They won by 1 point. I'm picking Donaldsonville in this game.
Okay, and Ascension Catholic, they're taking on the Central Catholic out of Morgan City.
I'll pick Ascension Catholic in this game. They were off a bye week last week. Central Catholic is 1-2. They lost to St. Stellanzas from Mississippi last week, 28-21. Their lone win was against West St. Mary, 49-22. These teams play each other a lot in baseball, but Ascension Catholics had the 2 big runs the last 2 years. I'm going to pick them in this game.
Okay, and Ascension Christian, they got a tough one against Haynes Academy.
Well, Ascension Christian was one of the games I lost last week. Zach Diaz, they lost with Westminster Christian 34-12. They held him to 5 of 32 passing for 176 yards. He still had a touchdown to Emery Tomplay and Nathan Bledsoe. But maybe they're starting to figure him out. He's got over 4,000 yards in his career. The 2 mutual games, Ascension Christian beat Ben Franklin 49-26. And Haynes Academy beat Ben Franklin 35-0. So it's on the road. I'm picking Haynes Academy in this one.
Okay, now let's go to college and LSU. They are coming off their bye week. They got a day game, a rare day game in Tiger Stadium against Utah State.
Well, Utah State was 11-2 last year to beat North Texas in the New Mexico Bowl. Jordan Love's their quarterback. He was Maxwell, Walter Camp, and Davey O'Brien watch list at the beginning of the year. Coming off a 34-24 victory over Colorado State. Their only loss was to Wake Forest in the opening week. I don't think it's going to be easy for LSU here, but they still score 40, 50 points, and they still blow them out by 20. But I do give Utah State some credit. LSU's going to win the game. I want to give Joe Brady, I got to give him all the credit for all LSU's offensive success. He's coming from the Saints, and he has them looking like the Saints. Joe Burrow's got 18 total touchdowns, 5 in the first week, 4 in the second week, 2, and then 6. He's coming off, even though it was a bye week, had 6 against Vanderbilt, a school record. Jamar Chase with the 4 touchdowns, receptions. LSU big in a big way.
Okay, and you talked about the Saints, and they are going to be playing against the Bucks. It's going to be in the Superdome. There have been kind of rumors about Drew Brees maybe being ready for that week, but what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I'm going to pick the Saints in this game. I picked against them this past week. The Bucks can give them some trouble. They knocked them off in the first game last year. You know, they got the Bucks lost to the 49ers. They beat the Panthers, and then they lost to the Giants. The Saints beat the Texans, lost to the Rams, and beat the Seahawks. I had said that Drew Brees was going to hurt. They were going to struggle, but you know, it didn't hurt Alvin Kamara last week. That's for sure. And Michael Thomas still had a good game as well. I just see the Saints being a better team than the Bucks overall, and they should win that game should win it pretty easy.
All right, and St. James, now we go to a River Parish game. St. James playing at Assumption, and that's a step up in competition, playing a 4A team.
Well, St. James just knocked off the number 7 team in 5A in Destrehan, 31-24. They 4-0. And they ranked number 2 in 3A. Assumption is ranked number 10 in 4A. They 4-0 right now. They just beat Denham Springs, who had beat Santamon a week before, 40-34. I'm gonna pick St. James, just going off that big win over Destrehan last week. Shamar Smith had 2 rushing touchdowns. Tyler Staub had a blocked kick, and Shavion Jones had returned a blocked kick for a touchdown, and Ja'Cory Hester returned interception for a touchdown. So I'm going to pick the St. James over the Mustangs in that game.
Okay, and 5-5A, one big game, Catholic High. They're going to Lafayette and taking on St. Thomas More.
Okay, I'm going to pick St. Thomas More in this game.
Ooh.
They've played each other the last 4 years, and Catholics won the first 3, but last year St. Thomas More did get them 53-42. The Catholic coming off a big 47-12 victory over Core, number 2 team in 4A, but St. Thomas More is the number 1 team in 4A. Catholic's the number 2 team in 5A. They both 4-0. The big thing I think is St. Thomas More had a 35-6 victory over Neville, the number 4 team in 4A last week, whereas Catholic only beat U-High 30-25, the number 5 team in 3A, and then Neville shut out U-High 28-0. So I think that's the difference right there. The Neville comparison that U-High got beat so bad by Neville, and then Catholic didn't beat U-High that convincingly. Whereas if St. Thomas More did 35-6, so I'm going to go with St. Thomas More.
All right, and that'll do it for our picks this week. Peter Pasqua with Pete's Picks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.